Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a wise and witty jester in the royal court. This jester was known far and wide for his sharp tongue and quick wit. He had a special place in the heart of the king, who allowed him to speak freely without fear of consequence. The jester's humour knew no bounds. He spared neither lords nor ministers in his jests. His jests brought laughter to the court, and everyone cherished his presence. As time passed, the jester's boldness grew. He became so audacious that he began to mock even the king himself. His jokes about the king were hilarious, but they also crossed a line. The court would fall into a hushed silence whenever the jester directed his humour at the king. The king, who had tolerated the jester's jests for so long, found himself deeply offended. One fateful day, while the king was engrossed in matters of state, the jester cracked a particularly daring joke about the king. The court fell into an eerie silence, and the king's face turned crimson with rage. He had had enough. In a fit of anger, the king sentenced the jester to death for his insolence. The jester, realizing the gravity of his situation, immediately fell to his knees and begged for mercy. He pleaded with tears in his eyes. "Your Majesty, I have been a fool, blinded by my own audacity. Spare my life, and I promise never to offend you again. I beg for your forgiveness." The king, still seething with anger, initially rejected the jester's plea for clemency. But the jester did not give up. He continued to implore the king for mercy, tears streaming down his face. Desperation filled his voice as he begged, "Your Majesty, I know I deserve punishment, but please grant me one last request. Let me choose the manner of my death." The king, intrigued by the jester's unusual request, paused to consider it. He finally said, "Very well, jester. I shall grant you the freedom to choose how you meet your end, but remember this is your last chance." The clever jester, with a sly grin, seized upon this unexpected opportunity. He replied, "Your Majesty, I choose to die of old age." The court gasped in amazement at the jester's response, and even the king couldn't help but smile at the jester's wit. The king, recognizing the jester's intelligence and quick thinking, decided to spare his life, but not without a stern warning. He said, "Jester, you are indeed wise and quick-witted. I shall spare your life this time, but let this be a lesson to you. Use your wit wisely and never cross the line of respect again." The jester, humbled and grateful, bowed before the king and promised to mend his ways. From that day forward, he continued to bring laughter to the court, but he also learned the importance of using his wit responsibly. He became not only the jester of the court, but also a wise counselor to the king, using his humor to diffuse tensions and bring joy to the kingdom. The moral of this story is that wit and humor are powerful tools, but they must be used responsibly and with respect. Sometimes it takes a clever response to mend a situation, and wisdom lies in knowing when to be bold and when to be humble.